Oh no. No, don't tell me the reverse camera doesn't work anymore. Stupid beta 1.3. How am I going to talk to my audience if they can't see my face?
Psst.
Hmm?
Psst. Down here.
What the?
No, down here. In your pocket.
My pocket? Oh.
Ah, finally. It was getting stuffy in there. And it kind of smells.
Who are you?
Me? I'm your inventory guy. I'm in here all the time. I just sit here in your inventory and keep an eye on things.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know you could talk.
Yeah, well, you learn something new every day. I heard you were having a few problems.
Yeah, well, I normally like to do my intros facing the camera, but they've changed all the controls around in beta 1.3 and the reverse looking camera doesn't seem to work anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. Hey, why don't you use me for a change?
You? What do you mean?
Well, they can see me and I can see them, so I could do all the talky bits for you instead.
Oh, I don't know.
Come on.
Well, I suppose it couldn't do any harm to try.
Excellent. You won't regret this. Finally, my big break. Hello! Welcome everyone to Minecraft The Journey, the amazing Let's Play series where we've been upgrading a survival world through every version of Minecraft, and we'll keep upgrading all the way through
Wait.
What? What's wrong? I thought I was doing really well.
Well, it was okay, but it's just not the same. I mean, we're staring at the inventory screen and it's just all a bit too weird. I mean, you can't even look around properly.
Hey, well, that's not my fault. It didn't always used to be like this until Notch changed it. But look, I can still move my head around. Watch this. Wow.
Okay, look, that's enough. Look, we gave it a try, but I'm just going to push through and do it in first person for a while, okay? Hey, don't get salty. Just do your job and let me do mine, okay?
Fine. I was getting bored of it anyway.
Okay, thank you. Now, where were we? Right. Welcome back everybody to another episode of Minecraft The Journey with me, bugmancx, and we have finally made it to beta 1.3, and boy do we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of changes in-game, but before we get into that, I want to go back a step, back before we load the world, and talk about some fundamental changes that have been introduced in this version. Did you know that beta 1.3 almost didn't make it out on time at all? Jeb was trying to track down a serious last-minute bug which was threatening the release going out on time, but after some hours of work he was able to find it, fix it, and was able to get the release out the same day. But perhaps this last-minute issue had put Jeb under a bit of time pressure because two versions of beta 1.3 were released, one at 1713 and then another at 1750 the same day. The 1713 release accidentally contained a little debug feature where if you generated a new world, the player would start with 64 torches, a pick, a shovel, an axe, as well as 64... well, what even are these things? Never mind. I'm not surprised this happened. We've seen it before. The devs were always adding temporary code to test out features in their development versions, but this code was intended to be removed before the public release would go out. Players had also been voicing their, shall we say, eagerness to play on a new version, and it had been weeks since beta 1.2's release back in December. The community was now used to getting smaller releases more frequently. Notch was also travelling overseas at the time, so it was probably Jeb's responsibility to get the game released on time, so having to fix that last minute problem would have definitely added to his stress, and I'm not surprised he overlooked removing this debug feature. Now, I don't normally cover the Minecraft launcher itself, but Notch had been working on a new launcher right before the beta 1.3 release and had made it available for download a couple of days earlier. And this new launcher was going to contain a lot more features, like displaying recent news and giving you more control over your upgrades. But the reason I went this far back is because when you launch Minecraft, there's a short splash screen with the Mojang logo, and ever since Alpha 1.0.4, we'd always seen the classic purple Mojang specifications splash screen, but from Beta 1.3 it's been replaced with the newly updated Mojang logo with its brand new colour scheme. Now that we're into the main menu, there have been some exciting new changes to the way we manage our world saves. Up until now, Minecraft could only support up to 5 slots for your world saves, and each world had to be named accordingly depending on which slot it occupied, World 1 through World 5. But in Beta 1.3, this is infinitely more flexible, and you can now save an unlimited number of your worlds, each with its own custom name. If I just click Create New World, I'm given the option to specify my world's name, so I could just call this My World. And you might also see that I'm able to specify a seed if I want to, but we'll come back to that later. So I think this is a great opportunity for us now to go back to our journey world and rename it from this boring old World 1. So if I just click Rename, we can now call it The Journey. There we go. So much better. Beta 1.3 introduces a new world save format, and this is something the game has needed for a long time. I know I've been going on and on about some of the technical changes in Beta 1.3, but there's a lot to talk about here, so just enjoy it and let me appeal to your inner nerd for a while. Since InfDev and the introduction of infinite terrain generation, Minecraft had been saving the world data in a format we now call the alpha level format. You may know that with infinite terrain, the world is divided up into 16 by 16 block chunks, and in the alpha level format, the data for each chunk is saved into its own file, allowing you to explore the world as much as you like and just keep generating more and more chunks. But the more you explore, the more files get generated, to the point where you could have hundreds of thousands of them in a vastly explored world. Working with thousands of files isn't very efficient, so a better solution was needed. Notch and the team already knew that the current world save format wasn't very efficient, and it was something that they'd already been discussing for several months. In Notch's blog post from January 6, 2011, he spoke about how the Mojang team had a strategy day, and in it he'd said that one of the top 2 priorities were a new save file format and adding mod support, so I guess this was pretty high on their list. So where does this leave us? Well, Scavelous to the rescue, again. In the last episode, we talked about how Scavelous had developed a mod for improving render performance called Fast Render, and how Notch had agreed to implement this mod into the game's core codebase. For world formats, we see the same story repeating itself here. In December 2010, Scavelous had developed another mod called McRegion, designed to improve the performance issues players experienced when exploring their worlds. With the alpha level format, the game's constantly opening, closing, reading and writing thousands of small files, and McRegion solves this problem by creating larger areas of the world and organizing them into regions. A region is an area of the world 32 chunks long by 32 chunks wide, and all of the chunk data within each region gets stored in one single file, instead of 1024 separate files. Players using this mod said it vastly improved their game performance, so I guess Notch wanted a piece of this action, and well, why do all the work yourself if somebody's already done it for you? So, just like the Fast Render mod, Notch agreed to implement Scavelous's McRegion mod into the Beta 1.3 game code, and it became the standard world format from that point forward. Oh, that was a lot of information to absorb, I know. Wait, what is that? Hey, wake up.
What? What?
Aren't you paying attention?
Yeah, but I get bored with all of that technical stuff going on and on and on. I want to play with some new toys.
I know, and we'll get there, hopefully by the end of the episode. But there's still a little bit more nerdy stuff that I want to go through, so stay awake and pay attention.
Okay.
Alright, like I said, I wanted to look at one more nerdy area before we move on, and that is the new lighting system. And you guessed it, this one was based off of someone else's code too. I think that by now Notch might have become a little bit addicted to adding other people's code into the game instead of doing all the work himself, but My understanding was that Jeb was doing all of the work anyway. Anyway, that's what the community says. I don't know, so let's move on. So, we have a new lighting system. The old blocky lighting is a thing of the past because Minecraft is now using a new lighting system called smooth lighting. This system was based on a mod originally written by Mr. Messiah. And if you take a look around the world here, even in the daytime you can really see the difference. There's more blending going on from block to block, but if you ask me, a lot of the textures look more vibrant now generally, and overall the whole game looks different. We can see the biggest difference once the sun goes down because you can see how the lighting gradually changes and it gets less and less bright the further away you get from the light source. I mean, that's what we'd expect to see, but it's quite different to the way it was done before. This whole lighting system was implemented as an optional setting, so we should be able to take a look at the differences with the smooth lighting turned on or off. But how does it work? Well, the biggest difference between the old and new lighting systems is that the new smooth lighting takes advantage of ambient occlusion, and ambient occlusion is basically the calculation of the shadowing of ambient light across the surface of any object or texture within the game. So before the addition of ambient occlusion, Minecraft was only capable of calculating a single light level across the entire surface of any block, giving it an incredibly blocky transition as lighting levels change from one block to the next. But the addition of ambient occlusion means that the shadow values can be calculated across the entire spread of a block's surface, giving it a much more smooth transition between one light level and another. By modern standards, this might not look that great compared to what something like a shader pack or ray tracing can do. But for Minecraft it was a big step towards getting better lighting, although it's still debatable whether it was any better at all. For the time being, I've turned off my smooth lighting so that we can do a few little comparisons here and there. Starting with here, I think, let's have a look at this. I think it's pretty obvious that we can see that with the smooth lighting off, you can see the patchwork nature of the sand here, especially because it's very flat. Each square is slightly more or less bright than its neighbor, depending on how close to that torch it is. But with the smooth lighting, it sort of fans out from the torch. It's very, very bright surrounding the torch base, and then it just spreads out from there, getting less and less bright and mixing in with its neighbor if there's a torch close by. So it does look better, but to me it still doesn't look quite right. To me, I think this is one of the biggest areas where you can see the change. The fence post looks almost completely different. In fact, I would go so far as to say that this particular change is the one that troubles me the most. It makes the fence look almost like it's been hand-drawn, almost like it's part of an illustration or a comic, as opposed to part of Minecraft. And you can see the huge difference between the shadowing inside this space, which really just changes the whole look and feel of Minecraft. Now, to observe this properly in the Nether, I've had to come up here to a really dark spot because you can really only see the difference when you place a torch down. There you can see the slight variation in the blocks, but as soon as we look at smooth lighting, you can see it only goes away just a little bit. And I think the reason for that is that the netherrack tends to scatter the light a lot anyway because it's such a noisy block. I certainly haven't been able to see any differences in the smooth lighting and non-smooth lighting at a distance in the Nether, really only up close like this. And even then, it's still really hard to tell. But have a look at this, smooth lighting is causing some funky stuff to happen with nether portals. With this smooth lighting, there's only one more little thing that I wanted to look at, and have a look at these sand blocks. They now have a shadow when they're adjacent another block, and that's not something that we had with the original lighting. So this is definitely new, and this is what I mean about how the game now looks completely different. These little subtle shadows everywhere are really changing the way that we see the game.
Come on!
What do you want now? I'm trying to do my job. Come on.
I want to do something interesting.
All right. Okay, let's go and find some blocks. Let's play with something new. Slabs, slabbity slabs. Beta 1.3 has introduced some new half blocks for us to play around with. Most are fairly self-explanatory, but one is pretty interesting. The stone slab's been with us in the game for ages now. In fact, it was introduced way back in Survival Test, and it was added way back then because Notch had said that he wanted to add some half-height blocks for stairs. You may remember as well that Notch had toyed with the idea of dirt slabs around this time, but it was never implemented, and so up until now, the stone slab has been the only half block in the game. So there are 3 new half blocks that have been added to the slab family. So the full family is now the stone slab, the sandstone slab, the wooden slab, and the cobblestone slab. The slabs are fairly straightforward to craft. You just take 3 of each item you want to convert into slabs, craft it like this, and you'll get 3 slabs back. But now that the cobblestone slabs have been added, this meant changing the recipe for stone slabs. Stone slabs used to require 3 cobblestone to craft, but now require 3 stone blocks. And since the only way to obtain stone blocks is by smelting cobblestone, these are much more expensive to craft now, and now you know why I crafted up a double chest of them before we upgraded. In terms of how the slabs have been implemented into the game, this was done in a similar way to leaves, not as separate blocks with their own block ID, but one ID with different variations. So when it was added to the game, the block ID for the stone slab is number 44, and each variation is just a variation with a data value. For example, 44 is the stone slab, 44.1 is the sandstone slab, 44.2 wooden slab, and 44.3 cobblestone slab. And it's this data value which tells the game which texture to use when displaying that block.
You're getting too technical again. Why are you getting into all these details?
Hold on, it's getting interesting because, here, let me show you. In Minecraft, there's this concept of the right tool for the right job. If you choose the right tool type to break a particular block, it will be more efficient to mine. That's why we use axes on our wood, shovels on our dirt, and pickaxes on our stone. But from the game's point of view, the only difference between these slab blocks is the texture that should be used. So from the game's point of view, these are all just stone slabs, and they all share the same properties as stone slabs. That means that when we try to use our axe on a wooden slab, it doesn't really work, because it's not really a wooden slab. So if you use a pickaxe to mine this block, you'll see that this is the right tool for the job. Even when you break the block, you'll notice that the particle effect is actually from stone, not from wood. That means that there are a few interesting properties of this wood slab. From our point of view, it looks like it's made of wood, but because it's actually made of stone, that means that it's impervious to fire and it's much more blast resistant. So if you want to build a wooden structure that's impervious to fire, this is the block for you. So Pocket Bug, you said that you wanted to do something interesting? Let's go burn down an oak slab house.
Oh boy, let's go!
Alright, look at these 2 architectural accomplishments. Surely it's my best work yet. We have 2 identical houses here, one made of wooden planks and one made of wooden slabs. But can you tell the difference? Pocket Bug, what do you think?
I don't know. Take me over so I can get a bit closer.
Alright, we can have a bit of a look around. Look, they're both the same on the inside and the outside. Look, structurally the same, the layout's the same, the materials, well, the materials might vary a little bit.
Everything looks the same, but hey, what do those signs say?
Well, I've placed a sign out the front of each house saying which material I built each house from, but those signs could be telling the truth, or they could be telling a lie.
Devious.
So I was thinking, how about a little wager?
Yeah? I'm up for that, but I don't have any money.
That's okay. I was thinking about something else actually. I'm going to let you choose which house is going to burn down. Now, if you win, you can do all of the talky camera bits until Mojang fixes the camera mode. But if I win, we go back to normal and you have to stay quiet while I'm recording, okay?
Aw, that's tough, but I'm up for it.
Okay, place your bets. Which house do you think is going to burn down?
This is hard. Okay, the one on the left said it was made of planks, but I think he's probably lying, so it's probably the one on the right that's made of planks. But surely he wouldn't lie just to throw me off, right? But maybe the signs are a lie so that I'll think they're the truth and then bet on the wrong house. This is devious. So devious.
Hurry up, we need to decide.
All right. I think he's pretty crafty, so I think they're a lie to try and trick me. So it's gotta be the one on the right. The one on the right. It's gonna burn down.
Are you sure?
Yep. No, wait. Yep. Okay. The one on the right. Burn it.
All right, here we go. Now this has to be fair, so I'm going to light the house in the same spot on each house. We're going to light that block there and that block there. I mean, will you look at that?
Oh, no.
The other house on the right
Oh,
didn't
no.
even light on fire. I wonder why that could be. Let's even go up and I'll try and light it up again. Oh, there we go. Maybe that will help burn it down.
This
No.
can't be happening.
Let's try up here. No. Oh, that poor house.
What
That
about my
poor house
career?
made of wood. Oh no. It's going up in flames.
My dreams are going up in flames.
And this house, perfectly fine. I'll just keep burning it. Nothing happens. So there you go. If you want to build a nice house that is fireproof, choose your wooden slabs rather than your wooden planks. I can pretty much guarantee you're going to have a house that survives. But I'm afraid, Pocket Bug, your time is over.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But this won't be the last you've seen of me.
Well, I don't know about that because after all, a bet's a bet. So things should be getting a lot more quiet around here for a while. And look, Beta 1.3 has restored our artwork. What's this called? The Burning Skull, the Flaming Skull? I forget, something like that. But I want to say thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed all the techno babble today, then, well, you're in good company because it's a lot of fun researching that stuff and learning about all of the mechanics of the game. But if not, I hope you enjoyed yourself anyway because it's always fun playing around with new features and new things that get added to the game. But we have run out of time in today's episode, so I want to say thank you for watching and a big extra thank you to my amazing patrons. Until the next episode, this has been bugmancx. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. I need to go to bed. Bye-bye.